Welcome to the Prime Real Estate Network channel on YouTube. I'm your host, Mr. Prime Real Estate, Ric Davis.
And I'm your host, the Texas Real Estate King, LarryWBrooks.
Every week, the King and I will provide you exclusive access to our network of lenders, investors, and real estate professionals from both the commercial and residential real estate sectors.
Now, are you millionaire minded? Or maybe you're a millionaire in the making. Make sure that you subscribe so you can get connected to the network. And always remember, the Prime Real Estate Network, where millionaires are in the making.
Create wealth for generations. Good day. Welcome to the Prime Real Estate Network podcast. I'm your host, Ric Davis. If you don't follow me on social media, I invite you to do so at Prime Real Estate Ric. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in residential or commercial real estate anywhere in the great state of Texas, but especially here in our lovely city of Houston, I invite you to reach out to me directly on Instagram at Prime Real Estate Ric. As always, it's an honor and a pleasure to be here this week with you on the podcast, and we're really excited about the guests we have lined up for you. If this is your first time checking out the Prime Real Estate Network, I urge you, if you're on YouTube, please smash the like and share button. And if you like our content, feel free to subscribe and check us out at your leisure. It's a great day. It's a great day to be in real estate, and it's a great day to check out the Prime Real Estate Network. I want to give a big, huge shout out to my co-host, the Texas Real Estate King, Mr. LarryWBrooks. He won't be here on the show with us this week, but you can look forward to hearing from the Texas Real Estate King next time at the same time on the Prime Real Estate Network podcast. Today's episode, we will be unveiling for everyone the fortune and the secrets that millionaires have about how they build their investment portfolio and how they add to how they build their generational wealth for their family and now and in the future. So this week's guest, I want to take some time to thank him. But first, I want to talk to you about these exciting events that we have planned. Tomorrow, and I repeat, tomorrow, I invite everyone in the greater Houston area. If you're here, you have time, you're invited to the Prime Real Estate Rockstar Party. This party is celebrating women in business. We're celebrating Women's History Month. It's tomorrow, Friday, March the 24th, at Hinkey and Pilot at 809 Congress here in the city of Houston. It's a great event. You'll be able to see so many of the past guests that we've had here on the Prime Real Estate Network. If you haven't had an opportunity to meet, greet, and interact with these entrepreneurs and business owners, tomorrow at Hinkey and Pilot will be your best opportunity. And we also want to give a huge shout out to our corporate partners over at White Star Title. Next week, they are hosting a continuing education training. This training is entitled Social Media for Realtors. It's on March the 28th at 11:30 a.m. at the White Star Title office over on Kirby. Go to the White Star Title, check them out on Instagram. You can scan the QR code that you see on the screen now, set up, schedule, enroll in that class, get your CE credit, but most importantly, learn about everything that's going on in the social media space in regards to real estate and how real estate professionals can best take advantage of those marketing opportunities. So thank you so much, man. We look forward to your support, and I want to thank you in advance. This week, I want to introduce our guest. He is not only a highly successful insurance broker, he is not only the owner of the KPA agency, but he is also a real estate and insurance and an investment expert that'll show you how to not only build your career in insurance, but how those that are shopping in the insurance sphere can add to their investment portfolio and set their family up for generational wealth. I want to thank him so much for sitting in with us this week. You've seen him before on the Prime Real Estate Network podcast, but I'd like to introduce for the second time, Mr. Kevin Ards. How are you?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, sir. Excited to be here.
Oh man, I just love the skyline behind you, Kevin. Man, that's outstanding, man. Thank you so much for sitting in. Last time we had you on the show, we had the pleasure of having you sit in the studio. So I want to thank you so much for tapping in with us from your home office, man. It's really exciting. I'm really excited to have you, and I've been looking so forward to this interview. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Now, for those that didn't see your first appearance, Mr. Ards, could you just introduce yourself, your company, and your business to our audience?
My name is Kevin Ards, CEO, owner of KP Agency. We're pretty much throughout the United States. We're a broker. We're affiliated with over 15 different insurance companies. So we're not a one-stop, just a one company. We can actually uh, shop around if you have any kind of issues or anything like that towards life insurance. I mean, we're just experts at it. We do mortgage protection, we do final expense policies, we do term, we do permanent plans like IULs, annuities, whole life policy, and we actually now have a program that can actually help you eliminate your debt. That's right. Eliminate your debt. So paying off these mortgages, instead of paying 30 years, you can actually own your home in 10 years and then build tax-free cash accumulation at the end of it. So not only will you be out of debt, but you have tax-free income with it.
You know, the great thing about having you sit in with us today, Kevin, is that you, of all the people we've had the honor and pleasure of interviewing, were able to share with our audience a lot of wealth building secrets that a lot of those that are in the buying public may not have been aware of. And on today's episode, I want to give you the opportunity to double down and illustrate for our audience not only how they can generate wealth from an investment standpoint when it comes to insurance products, but how fruitful and bountiful it can be to be an insurance professional like yourself and build your own professional platform. So that's why I am so excited to have you sit in, because when I talk to members of our audience about what we're going to be discussing this week, this particular topic is something that's been really popular lately in the social media space, in the content creation space. So please, first thing, Kevin Odds, when you think about your career as an insurance broker and an insurance agency owner, what has been the most fulfilling part of that journey? And how have you been surprised at how it has set you up to generate wealth for your family from that professional entrepreneurial standpoint as well?
Well, insurance, a lot of people do not like talking about life insurance because many people deal with it with death.
Right.
Uh, but most of America, I mean, it's close to over 60% of Americans, they don't have any life insurance. So what happens? You see those GoFundMe pages. You see families go into debt, just trying to pay for the funeral arrangements and things of that sort. So life insurance is something that it's a way that you can protect your family, make sure that they're taken care of, make sure they don't have that financial burden. So being an insurance, life insurance broker it's a way of my way of giving back because it provides a service to families. Of course, they don't want to see me in person because usually that's not a good thing.
Right.
But they have that sense of mind that they know if something do happen to them, that their family will be protected.
So when you initially got involved from in the insurance space from a business owner, entrepreneurial standpoint, did you have a professional mentor? And if so, what type of things did you see in that individual that motivated you to get involved in the space and to reach out to them for that type of guidance and information?
Well, I do have a mentor. His name is Darren Willis. He's located in Macon, Georgia. He still mentors me today. I pretty much, when I came into the business, coming from corporate America for so many years, I told him, I said, teach me like I know nothing. I'm still to this day, I'm still a sponge. We pretty much, the way we kind of talk, he's an ex football player, so we kind of talk like in the realm of sports. So he's like, hey, just run the play. So that's all I'm doing. I'm just running the play. And then we bounce things off of each other, which is wonderful. So it's some things that I'm gearing towards more than he is. but he brought me into the business and told me that the sky's the limit. He tells me all the time, he's like, Kevin, I've taught you everything. There's nothing more I can teach you. And I say, yes, you can. I'm still learning. I'm still a student of this business. I never look at myself as that I know it all. Even when I'm speaking to my clients, I like to talk to them like I'm talking to my daughter. She's 14, so I tell all of my clients, we're family. I'm not a person that's here to sell you insurance. That's not my job. I tell everybody, tell anyone, I've never sold one insurance policy. Only thing that I do is educate you about various insurance policies. And it's up to you at the end of the day whether or not you feel that it's something that is good for you and your family.
As you continue to build your profile, take your agency, build your agency, give your agency more exposure. You just mentioned earlier about the fact that you have a professional mentor. How often do other business owners, entrepreneurs, and those that just started in the insurance space reach out to you for information, guidance? And when they do, what are some advice that you give those new entrepreneurs as they build their first insurance brand and agency?
Well, that's one of the reasons why a lot of people actually get out of the business.
Mm.
When they come into it, they're on an island by themselves. They have no one to reach out to. It's kind of like, hey, you join this organization or you go into this industry, and they tell you to go online, watch some YouTube videos, or watch some online training drills, and there's no coaching. At the end of the day, when you first come into this business, you got to be able to hold someone's hand. I take the time out. I talk to my agents all the time. They can reach me. I walk around with my cell pretty much all the time, 24/7. A little too much, I should say. But I tell them if I'm not answering my phone, that's typically I'm with a client, and then as soon as I finish that client, I give them a call back. But I pride myself on educating individuals and agents that want to come into the business, spending that time with them, and just show them. I meet a person wherever they're at. If they're going to give me 100%, I'm always going to give them 110%. So I'm always going to give them more. And if they want to, someone comes to me and tell me, hey, this is the goal that I want to achieve, I'll tell them how to do it, explain it to them and hold their hand. But it's up to them to run the play at the end of the day.
The luxury that I have knowing you on a personal and professional basis is that you've always been my insurance go-to as far as questions about products, but also questions about the business. And one of the things that you were able to educate me on is how, if you are a like-minded entrepreneur, business builder, and you actually can run the play, like you mentioned, how you can actually build a 7 or 8 figure business and actually retire and have that as something that can support you and your family in perpetuity is something that I thought was amazing about the insurance space. So for those that don't have the luxury of knowing someone like you, could you just illustrate how in insurance, especially from a business builder standpoint, you actually get out of the game more than what you put in? So could you just give us an idea of what the life cycle of an experienced, successful insurance broker owner looks like?
Well, let's kind of talk about the growing the generational wealth. There's 3 different types of insurance products or policies that I usually focus on. One is an index universal life policy, which you'll hear me refer to it as IUL, as well as a fixed index annuity. And then the final one is a whole life product, whole life policy. For the Index Universal Life Policy, IUL, one of the great things about it is I call it a trifecta because it's going to give you your insurance coverage, whatever amount that you want that policy to be in case of your death benefit, as well as it's going to have living benefits. A lot of people are totally unaware that there's policies out there that has living benefits in them, and pretty much what they do, living benefits added onto a insurance policy free of cost. It's going to actually cover, let's just say, if you have a heart attack, you have a stroke, you get diagnosed with cancer, ALS, for some reason you can't perform two of the daily living activities, and that's like feed yourself, bathe yourself, take your medication without someone insisting you. And the last one is, of course, terminal illness. So typically, if your policy has living benefits, it's going to have up to 18 different medical conditions that something happens to you. You can actually access that policy without you passing away. So it's not your traditional, I have a policy, an insurance policy in case something happens to me, because most of us, in our lifetime, something else is going to happen to it that's going to cause our death. And so this is a great way to access it. And then it also is growing cash in it. The companies that I'm using, they're growing significantly. And one of the great things about an IUL, it goes to the age of 120.
Mm.
Uh, you won't, if you do live that long, I don't know if they haven't changed anything, but having a policy that goes into the age of 120, the monthly premium, it stays the same, which means it does not increase. So
Mm.
if you are 20 years old and you have a policy in IUL, it will stay the same monthly or annually or semi-annual, however you choose to pay for that policy, is going to remain the same. So that's a great thing. As we get older, insurance cost does increase. So it's a lot of policies that I actually write for 0-year-olds. That's right. As long as you have a social, you can actually own an IUL, and you can actually fund that policy. And it's a great way for them to actually, utilize the tax-free cash accumulation in it to do whatever they feel. One of the great ways you can do it is, instead of utilizing a 529 plan, everyone may utilize a 529 plan, which is the college fund for our child. And what if it happens if they decide not to go to college? Well, you can pass it on to another family member, or if you take the capital gains out of it, you might pay taxes on it. Well, with the IUL, you can actually access that policy. There's no set age, so there's no age restriction, so you can access it anytime you want to. So that's one of the great ways of an IUL that you can actually utilize to grow tax-free cash accumulation. The next one is a fixed index annuity, phenomenal product. Basically work with my clients who actually have a lump sum of cash. So that's rolling over IRAs, rolling over 401ks, 403bs, 457s, that you no longer on that particular job, that you actually started that particular retirement fund, and it's just sitting out there. So you're not contributing to it anymore, or nor is the old company matching what you put in. So.
Right.
So it's just sitting over there. So you can roll that over. And one of the great things about it is whatever, if you dump in however much that is, and let's just say $50,000, you would never lose. You would never lose that $50,000. You will always have at least that initial dump in. Only way it can do is stay the same or increase. Especially what's going on, and we know in our country these days, everyone is looking at life a little different. If you remember 2008, 2009, if you had a 401k like myself, uh, you were looking at some things a lot differently. A lot of people had to, thought they were retired, were going back to work. So it basically is protecting and growing that cash. And you can do those as well as any time. So, if you do start a fixed index annuity and you want to access it prior to the age of 59 and a half, yes, you may pay taxes on that capital gains. But if you're over that, it's a phenomenal product. And then the last is our debt elimination program called Debt Free for Life. It's utilizing a whole life product to pay off your debt, utilizing the traditional debt snowball, but it's modified. And then I can guarantee you that you're going to have a tax-free lump sum of cash. So it actually helps you eliminate your debt as well as stay out of debt.
Right.
So that's one of those three great ways that you can actually, work on your generational wealth and things of that sort.
The thing that's so impressive about not only when I've had a chance to hear your presentation, but also study the insurance field as a whole, is that these products actually have a living benefit, a death benefit, and an investment benefit all in one. Why is it that there is still such a huge opportunity to educate the public and thus get different people to purchase these type of products, invest in these type of products. What is it from an education standpoint that you think is keeping the general public from totally embracing this concept and actually getting involved from that perspective?
One of the reasons they have no knowledge of it.
Wow.
That's one of the great things that I pride myself on is I'm an insurance educator at the end of the day. Just to talk about insurance, life insurance, I talk about it all, every single day, all day. Even if you start a conversation with me, I'm probably it's going to end up talking about life insurance some particular way. But these particular types of products have been around forever.
Right.
The founder of McDonald's had one. The Rockefeller family. J.C. Penney founder, a lot of uh, individuals, sports teams that the University of Michigan, Jim Harbaugh, Dabo
Right.
Sweeney, they have policies to this day that that the universities are actually funding
Yeah.
to help them grow. So these policies have been around. It's just no one's really talking about them because a lot of people, a lot of insurance agents currently exist have not educated themselves or wanted to be educated about it. So, which means, I mean, there's only one Kevin Ards, right? So I can only be so many different places, utilizing platforms like this to be able to educate people and just put it on their radar to make people do their own research. But like I said, I mean, that's mainly the reason why you don't hear a lot of people utilizing these products. Some individuals out there may frown upon them just because they're safe. They're safe. They're safe. So if you're a person that wants to have high rewards, but be cognizant that you may have high risk of those rewards as well. So there's a high risk. But then there's also that high risk of, of falling below that threshold. So I'm a person that's very safe. When I go to Vegas, I don't gamble because I don't like losing my money.
Right.
So I like for my money either stay the same or only go one way, and that's up.
You know, um, you are so transparent with the education and sharing of your experiences. One of the great things about knowing you and watching you work is that it's true. You speak insurance as a lifestyle. Insurance is what you do. And in our field, in real estate, we always talk to the new agents about you need to always be carrying real estate conversations. So, from your standpoint, if you were giving advice to newly licensed insurance salespeople who have been finding it challenging to get their foothold in the industry, who's been finding it challenging to establish their foundation for their business, is there something from a experience standpoint that you found that works a lot more often when you're new in the industry and you want to get involved and get comfortable talking about insurance and presenting yourself as a resource?
You have to plug in, and you got to find yourself a mentor. Having a mentor is one of the greatest things that you can actually do because you can bounce ideas off of one another. You can actually kind of see how they're running their business, what challenges they have, because insurance is in a way is evolving, right? It's not staying the same. Our traditional whole life policies that our parents had on us when back in the day, it's totally different from what we have today. So it's finding someone. If that means going on Instagram, I know everybody's on social media, reaching out, just typing in life insurance, and then just kind of go that way. Or definitely do your research, Google it, use Siri, go to YouTube, plug in, and then kind of find someone that you can kind of that you gravitate towards. I'm a person who will actually always, if someone reaches out to me and just wants to bounce an idea, then I will. I have no issues having a conversation with someone because I'm in this business that I want everybody to be successful in this industry. I don't want people to hear when they say life insurance broker or agent that people frown upon. They want to run away. They want to put
Right.
they
Right.
want to put the X up. I definitely think that's one of the first things that anyone that's coming into this business, what they want to do is find a mentor and do a little research and just kind of go from there.
You know, for those members of our audience who may have already heard of the KPA agency, that may have already know Kevin Ards, but had no idea that you were so open to mentoring and being serving as a resource for those new and aspiring insurance entrepreneurs. Are you looking to add to your team? Are you formally looking to establish a mentoring network? If people want to work with you, who want to take advantage of your expertise and your knowledge, is there a way for them to formally either become a member of the KPA agency or to work with Kevin Ards on an exclusive basis?
There's a couple of ways that you can reach out to me. You can definitely reach out to me through Instagram, at KP Agency, KPA Agency. But the best way to reach me is by either just pick up the phone, give me a live phone call or text message. My number is 912-200-7520. I answered that pretty much before I answer Instagram or emails. That's the best way to reach me. One of the great things what I'm doing right now is I'm helping cover the cost of the coursework to obtain your life insurance license. This is going on all the way up to May 15th. So that's 199 value. Only thing you got to do is reach out. We can get you signed up, get you enrolled in your coursework. And only thing you have to pay for is your fingerprint and to take your exam. But the coursework, I'm covering it. This is a great way to come into the business, especially even if you want to do it just part time. There's a lot of people that have full time jobs working in the real estate industry,
Right.
as well as if they just want to do something on the side to earn some extra income. It's a great way to come into the industry part time and then kind of learn it and to see if it's something that you want to gravitate toward as a full time commitment. But one thing I can tell you that once you get licensed and things of that, once you obtain your license, I'm gonna be right with you every step of the way. I'm gonna reach out to you. I'm gonna ask you. But if you give me 100%, I'm gonna give you 110%. I want to be your mentor. But if you say, hey, Kevin, you don't have to. I've pretty much been in this industry for a while. I just want to expand my portfolio, which means I want to have access to other insurance carriers that I currently don't have. Hey, reach out to me. The same thing. I mean, hey, you can already be licensed, and then you can say, hey, I just want to have access to certain companies. I want to be able to do certain things, or if I just have my license and I just need some mentor or some training that I haven't previously received in the past. I'm the person to reach out to. Once again, Kevin Ards, KPA Agency. My number is 912-200-7520.
Man, I want to thank you so much, Mr. Ards, for sitting in. I urge everyone in the audience, if you are underinsured, if you have no insurance, if you're a business owner, if you're in a corporate partnership, insurance, protecting your assets and protecting the value of the people you're doing business with is paramount. Mr. Ards has talked on a previous episode how important it is that if you're in a corporation and you have partners, there's things like key man insurance that takes care of every member of the organization and make sure that if there was ever any changes in that organization, unfortunately, you have resources and finances in place to keep the business afloat and keep everyone moving forward through that tough time. So please reach out to Mr. Ards at KPA Agency on Instagram. He shared his number. Give him a call. Kevin, do you have any final words of inspiration or motivation for our audience? I want to thank you so much. I want everyone in our audience to take the time to heed your advice. Is there anything that you would like to mention to our audience in closing?
The only thing in closing is protect your family. They're your family. Love them. Make sure if anything happens to you that you are properly covered at the end of the day.
I want to thank you so much, man. I want to give you your flowers publicly. I'm so proud of everything you're doing over at KPA. I love how you're building the brand, how you're adding these type of products. And no matter how often you may feel like your work is underappreciated, those that have been able to protect their family and their family's future by working with you and investing in your insurance products. Trust me, you're our number one call on our phone when we want to get these things handled. Thank you so much for what you do. Continue to educate the public, continue to mentor those in the insurance space, because in our community, Kevin, we are so undereducated, underrepresented, that the work that you're doing is changing lives forever. So thank you so much. Anytime you want to sit in on a Prime Real Estate Network podcast, you always have a seat. And please, any upcoming events, anything that you guys are spearheading or promoting, let us know, because we are behind you 110%. Thank you so much, brother, man. I look forward to having you on the show again soon.
Thank you, Mr. Ric Davis.
Appreciate it. Hey, man, everyone in the audience, man, this was a great interview. Once again, I urge everyone, follow Kevin on Instagram at KPA Agency on IG. Give him a call. If you need to, you can reach out to me directly on Instagram at Prime Real Estate Rick. Big, huge shout out. Before I sign off this week, I want to remind everyone, tomorrow on Friday, March the 24th, is the Prime Real Estate Rockstar Party. We're celebrating women in business. If you are a past guest of the Prime Real Estate Network podcast, you're invited. If you're a future guest of the Prime Real Estate Network podcast, you're invited. If you're a mover, a shaker in the real estate space anywhere in the great state of Texas, you're invited. If you're a female entrepreneur, if you're a lady and a woman business owner, we're here to celebrate you. Please come out. Friday, March the 24th, 9 p.m., Hickey and Pilot at 809 Congress. I cannot urge you to come out enough. We look forward to meeting, greeting, and interacting with everyone. I thank everyone. If you do not have a chance to stop by, please, this entire weekend, man, enjoy friends, enjoy family. But most important, everyone, until next week, and we do the Prime Real Estate Network podcast, please be safe and be blessed.